everyone and welcome. This is going to be a little kind of tutorial-ish video. I've had quite a few requests recently of people asking how I draw, and I thought I would just use this as an opportunity to do a spread in my sketchbook and show you the materials I use. So I think I'm just going to first show you the materials that I use, and then I'll just start drawing, and then I'll probably hand it over to voice over Almudena to continue from there, just because I tried to film this about half an hour ago today, and with me talking it's just going to take so much longer to do because I can't concentrate. Also, I feel a bit nervous sometimes, like filming and talking at the same time. So I'm using currently, this is a new sketchbook. I treated myself to two Midori sketchbooks. I think that's how you say it. They're Japanese. I really like them. I don't know if they're actually technically sketchbooks or if they're just more journal books, but I really like using them as a sketchbook. And I've started, to do a little sticker collection on the front. If anyone can recommend any creatives that do kind of like bugs, beetles, nature theme stickers, please link them below or leave a little comment, because I'm in the search for some. I've got another little one here that this is for my journaling, because I save lots of bits of paper and things like that, and I'd never known what to do with them, so I started also a little journal. But I both really like them, and I got the nice little covers for them as well, just to keep them nice and clean. So this is the sketchbook of choice for the moment. And then in terms of materials, I use just a small handful of things, to be honest. Like, I don't use loads of different bits, but to sketch the drawing I'm gonna do, I don't always do this, to be honest, just like sometimes I might like want to trace out first what I'm gonna draw, and then I go in with like my inks and things like that. But I use I think my favorite pencil, I think this is like a 9B pencil, so I do quite like using thick, smooth and quite dense pencils. Like, I like the 9B because you can kind of shade with it, and then using like your finger you can then go over and smudge it. I also use for kind of texture and bits of tone and shading as well. I believe these are, I want to say like Prismacolor pencils, but it's just a black pencil. I'd like to find a black pencil that's more smoother and a bit more creamier to use, just because I don't really feel that I believe this is Prisma ones are that smooth. And then that's kind of it in terms of like my pencils. I do have like a handful of other pencils here that are obviously, so I'd like using a 9B, which is obviously a very like thick pencil. And then I've got as well, so my main like painting medium is ink at the moment, and it's this ink. I don't really know where it's from, to be honest, but this was given to me by a friend, and she kind of recommended me to start using ink, and I really like it, and I think I'll probably buy more of it once it runs out. I like how quickly this ink dries, but then also I love the different kind of tonal depths that you get from it as well. It's not just all the same, you can kind of really play with it and add a bit of water to it, and I really like how it dries as well. On some papers it can come out quite shiny, which I quite like, so I normally use that. And then in terms of just, pens as well, actually totally forgot to mention. So I can't find a pen that I just had, so there's a pen that I use that is this brand, but it's not as thin of a nib, it's like quite a thick nib. If I can find it again I'll show you it, but I think I've just probably misplaced it. But I'm not too bothered, to be honest, about brands and things like that at the moment. I do quite like this brand in particular in terms of pens. They're always just like very good in my opinion. And then I also recently got, which I've been using on and off, this, it's the same brand. I do quite like a lot of Japanese stationery, as it seems. I also sometimes use this, which is kind of like a painty nib, which works really nicely as well. You get a lot of different kind of like line width with that. So yeah, that's kind of it in terms of those types of materials. And then for like, I don't know if this is interesting, so for a rubber I use just I think you call this putty, rubber putty. and I also sometimes use a rubber on a stick. I find that helpful sometimes. And then in terms of paintbrushes, I've bought a couple of more expensive miniature painting brushes, which have been really, really good. And then I also bought just like a larger set of cheaper brushes, which have worked equally just as well, if I'm being honest. Like, I find them both fine. Again, I'm not very educated, I don't think, in like brands and things like that. I kind of just go with whatever. So yeah, that's kind of like my little setup. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pass this over to voiceover Almudena, and she's going to kind of talk you through a little bit about the process that I'm doing. And hopefully this won't be too long of a video, but I hope you enjoy it, and yeah, I'll see you in a bit.
Hello, so we're going to dive straight into it, and I'm going to start off using my 9B pencil to vaguely trace out what I want to draw. I don't always do this, as I said, but sometimes I do jump straight in with the inks or the pens. But I firstly just go in to ink everything, and I use ink the most probably when you look at my pieces. That's like the more dominant medium in the piece. And then once I've kind of done everything I want to do with the ink, I then go back in and use a variety of like the pencils, the pens, the markers, anything just to give a bit more contrast. Because I use black and white, I feel like if I just use one medium, it always sometimes feels a little bit flat to me. So you can see here I start off with ink when drawing this person, but then I then go in with like pens and just like pick up little bits of hairlines and adding some little curls and little dots and stuff like that, again just to add like a bit more texture and a bit more tone to my pieces. I'm so sorry this is such a quick tutorial. If you want a longer one, I'm happy to do a longer one, but please just let me know in the comments below. I then go on to do a piece that's really inspired by an image by Kevin Lookbert, I believe that's what they're called. I think you can see quite clearly on this one the contrast on the different materials that I use, from the ink to the pencil to the pens to the markers, and I quite like how this drawing has turned out. I'd like to do more with it, but yeah, don't really know what I want to do with it. But I like the idea of the house kind of floating in the sky. And so yeah, I'm going to end this video here. So thank you so much for watching, and I will hopefully see you in the next one. Take care, bye!